Imagine this. You're sipping your morning coffee when an alert pops up. Your cloud environment just got breached. You spit out your coffee, scream, "Not again," and frantically Google how to secure cloud data. Sound familiar? Okay, maybe not the screaming part, but there's good news. Hey, I'm Jason with Cumulus Consulting, and in this video, I'll share 5 essential cloud security tips you can implement today, and I'll throw in a little bonus at the end. Why cloud security matters. Cloud computing is amazing, scalable, flexible, and let's face it, way cooler than having a closet full of servers. But here's the thing, with great power comes great responsibility, or in this case, great security risks. Cloud breaches cost businesses billions. Yep, with the B, and most of it totally preventable. But you're smarter than that, so let's dive into tip number 1. Tip number 1, understand the shared responsibility model. Let's start with the shared responsibility model. Think of it like a partnership. Your cloud provider, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, secures the infrastructure, but securing the data, access, and configurations, that's all on you. Here's an example. AWS guarantees their physical servers are secure, but they won't stop you from creating an overly permissive IAM role that allows anyone on the internet to access your resources. Similarly, Azure can ensure compliance at their level, but you need to configure your environment to meet your specific industry standards like PCI or HIPAA. Misunderstanding this responsibility model is one of the top reasons for cloud vulnerabilities. One famous case involved an open Elasticsearch database that exposed millions of records because the user assumed the cloud provider handled everything. Make it a habit to review your cloud provider's shared responsibility documentation. AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud all provide clear guides. This understanding forms the foundation for every other tip we'll discuss today. Tip number 2, enable multi-factor authentication everywhere. Passwords alone are so 2010. If you're still relying on password 123, it's time to upgrade. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is like adding a second lock to your front door. Even if someone guesses or steals your password, they'll hit a wall without the second layer of verification. Think about this. A report by Microsoft found that enabling MFA blocks 99.9% of account compromise attacks. That's a huge win for such a simple step, but here's the catch. Don't stop at just enabling MFA for users. Ensure it's required for all admin accounts, privileged roles, and even third-party integrations that interact with sensitive data. Some organizations struggle with adoption because it adds an extra step, but the benefits far outweigh the minor inconvenience. Tools like Microsoft Authenticator, Dual Security, or YubiKey make the process seamless. And many cloud providers offer built-in MFA options you can activate in minutes. Tip number 3, monitor for misconfigurations. Misconfigurations are a hacker's dream. Open buckets, overly permissive roles, unpatched systems. It's like a buffet for bad actors. But here's the good news. You don't have to manually check everything. Let's take an example. An open Amazon S3 bucket in 2017 exposed sensitive data from the US Department of Defense. A simple configuration mistake led to the exposure of thousands of classified files. That's the level of risk we're talking about here. Thankfully, tools like AWS Config, Azure Security Center, and GCP's Security Command Center automate the process of detecting these vulnerabilities. They don't just flag issues, they also provide remediation steps, making it easier to secure your environment quickly. Here's an advanced tip. If you're managing a multi-cloud environment, look into third-party tools like Prisma Cloud or Dome9, which can monitor configurations across providers. And don't just scan once. Schedule routine checks because new deployments can unintentionally introduce risks. Think of these tools as your security nanny, constantly saying, "Hey, you left the front door open again." It's annoying, but it might save your ass one day. Tip number 4, encrypt everything. Encryption is your cloud's invisibility cloak. Without it, your data is basically streaking across the internet for everyone to see. Encryption ensures that even if someone intercepts your data, they can't read it. It's just gibberish to them. Most cloud providers, like AWS, Azure, and GCP, offer built-in encryption tools to make this easy. For example, AWS Key Management Service, or KMS, allows you to manage and control encryption keys without the hassle of manual key storage. Likewise, Azure Key Vault lets you securely store and access keys, secrets, and certificates. Don't stop at encrypting your primary data. Your backups and snapshots should also be encrypted. They're often overlooked, and if they're exposed, you're still at risk of a breach. This is especially critical if you're storing backups in third-party locations or different regions. Back in 2021, an unsecured database database containing unencrypted customer data from a major e-commerce company was exposed. The breach was catastrophic, impacting millions of users. The lesson? Encrypt everything. Your data is your responsibility. Use encryption at both rest and transit. At rest means protecting your stored data, while in transit ensures security when your data is being transferred. Transport Layer Security, or TLS, is the gold standard for securing data in motion. Tip number 5. Regularly review access permissions. Permission creep is real. People join projects, get admin access, and then leave. But their accounts? They stick around like ghosts haunting your cloud. Over time, even active users may accumulate permissions they no longer need. This creates unnecessary vulnerabilities. Start by adopting the principle of least privilege, which means giving users only the permissions they absolutely need. For example, developers working on a specific project should only have access to the resources within that project, not your entire environment. Also, take advantage of cloud tools that help manage and monitor permissions. AWS IAM Access Analyzer or Azure's Active Directory Privileged Identity Management can flag overly permissive roles and help you tighten them. In one infamous case, an organization forgot to revoke admin rights for a former employee. That account was later compromised, leading to a ransomware attack that cost millions. A simple audit could have prevented it. Here's a pro tip. Make permission reviews a quarterly habit, or tie them to major events like employee offboarding or project completions. Better yet, automate this process where possible to ensure nothing slips through the cracks. Think of your cloud like your Netflix account. Do you really want that ex-roommate from 5 years ago still logging in? Probably not. Clean up those accounts. Bonus tip. Automate your incident response. Tools like AWS GuardDuty and Azure Sentinel can detect, alert, and even fix problems faster than you can say, is this a drill? For example, you can set up automated workflows that isolate compromised resources, disable accounts, or even roll back configurations when a threat is detected. This doesn't just save time, it minimizes damage. Think of automation as your on-call security team that never sleeps. It's a game changer, especially when you're dealing with large-scale deployments. And that's a wrap. Which tip was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to grab your free cloud security checklist. It's packed with even more tips to keep your data safe. Hit like, subscribe, and remember, lock the front door.